Okay, I don't think this is going to work out too well here. Rosie, you're going to have to go, son. Come on, Rosie. Get down. Oh, dear. All right, and I'm all completely out of focus. Yeah, out of focus in more ways than one. Okay. Uh, it's Saturday, going on towards evening. It's 6:30, quarter to 7. Not a warm day, not a hot day. I haven't been outside much. I've been mostly in here doing my thing, whatever my thing is. A while back, I showed you guys some quilt squares. I was making these. And then I made these. Same thing, but different. And I'm putting them together, ending up with a pattern such as that. This is an old pattern from Civil War days, according to my books, called Battlegrounds. And I kind of wanted to make a battleground quilt because I've been, for the last year or so, putting up articles and pieces about Battleground California, Battleground Oregon, battlefield this, battlefield that. The United States is a battlefield. I haven't seen too much relevant news relevant to conditions in the United States today. I believe that the horrendous, ridiculous spectacle of the Democratic National Convention has concluded. I hope to hell so. So we suffered through all of that. I got solicited. I got solicited online. Yeah. Somebody sent me an email. I'm sure it was just a form letter email, although in the beginning I didn't perceive it as that. Anyway, this chap was saying that I seem to have great potential, much talent, and he would like to support me in obtaining sufficient page views for my work. Can you believe that the going price for 5,000 page views, with this gentleman's help, costs $14 USD? I guess I'm just naive. I had no idea that such a thing was going on. I suppose it doesn't really surprise me. What a way, though, to gain control over someone's content. A little flattery here, a little vanity there, and plus somebody's making some money in between times. I actually was a little pissed, like, the truth is not a popularity contest. I don't care if there's 5 page views or 5,000 page views, and I certainly wouldn't pay for 5,000 page views. The truth is not a popularity contest at all. I don't know, the whole concept makes me pissed. A lot of stuff online makes me pissed. A lot of people who could be doing really effective, good work are not. They need to, and they should. Someone contacted me, and I appreciated this very much. Made a nice remark about, made a very nice comment, but kind of joked a little too because I put the title Flat Earth Truth up there, but I don't talk about flat Earth truth. I have explained it before that that is not my area of research. I don't have that skill set or the expertise to do that kind of research in an effective way. My job in that community has been I'm part of the support system, and that's been very meaningful to me, more meaningful than you probably would ever know. It was a joy to do it. I cannot say at the moment that it is a continuing joy in that particular way, but it has been a joy to do it. And I have had contact and been privileged to meet some very wonderful people working in that arena of truth. It is believed by many, and I agree with this concept, that exposure, revelation of the real shape, configuration, and size of the planet we live on would pull the zipper on all the other false science that has been idolized as one of the gods of the modern world. Science, you know, is authority. That's the voice of authority. Many times here in the United States, there will be newspaper articles and stuff published, and which quote, scientists say that. Oh, scientists say that. Oh, that must be true then. Scientists say it. But we have learned through the research and the work of conspiracy theorists, in particular those who have tackled the problem of the shape of the earth, have oh, I forgot my sentence. I just rambled right off of there. Maybe I'll get it back, maybe I won't. I have done more to expose the fraud of all the sciences than anything else that has happened probably in the last 500, 600 years. That's a huge feat, you guys. A huge feat. In another way, I think the conspiracy researchers who have worked in flat Earth, as well as every other topic you can imagine, have been, unbeknownst to themselves, part of an enormous army that are missionaries for the truth. And I cannot applaud this community enough for the resilience, the hard-headedness that it has taken to, we still have a long way to go, but we are closer, far closer than we were 10 years ago or 20 years ago. All right, so I view you all as missionaries for the truth. I like that phrase. I didn't think of it. I wish I had it, but that was a phrase that Dave Hodges has been using, and I like it. Take what you like and leave the rest. That's something that is admonished in every AA meeting. Take what you like and leave the rest. What you can't use may be valuable to someone else, so leave it there. And we go on. Yesterday was a terrible day. I was so discouraged. It seemed impossible that I could ever post anything again, or certainly that I never wanted to show my face again. I was so discouraged. That comes and goes, and sometimes it's worse. There are events that knock the wind out of you. When that happens, there are several things that you must remember. There are only two things you really can trust or must trust. You must trust yourself, and you must trust a power greater than yourself. Trust yourself in that you can and will get up again. You always have. If you hadn't, you would not be sitting here now. So trust yourself. You can and will get up again because you always have, and you know that. And then there is the matter of trusting in a power greater than yourself. I don't know that I can give much advice on how you stimulate or come to that point of trust. I don't. A lot of the times, I don't. That's honest. You know, you have to be honest. Okay, of the info that I have posted most recently, there's a couple of pieces that I regard as the most important. I'm going to change screens, stand by one. Everything that I put up in the last couple of days is all about the same subject, just different aspects of it. And of the information I've put up, I believe that the videos done by Ann Barnhart are extremely important. If you have not taken the time to listen to them, you should. That's my opinion. Going on. I think in the last time I spoke with you, I commented that I wanted to know what Anne, since she is so staunchly and very knowledgeable Catholic. And you know, I like the meaning of the word Catholic as it is referenced and used in a generic sense. Catholic in that sense meaning all compassing, kind of like universal. And it's spelled with a small c. And I believe kind of that one way or another, everyone who is Christian can find a position in that generic term Catholic. So going on, at that time when I spoke last about this, Anne had not updated, and I was a little worried about her. Since then, she has updated copiously. If you're not familiar with her site, you should find it, because she puts up many things, much more than we can go into here. So she introduces the videos that I'm mentioning that you should find time. On priests being slaughtered on the altars, if only someone had warned us. Well, actually, see, somebody has warned us. If you haven't watched my video presentation from early 2012 about the similarities between the French Revolution, specifically the genocide in the Vendée region, wherein 400,000 people were systematically tortured, terrorized, and killed in the most brutal terms. And what is happening now, I'm telling you, you're really missing something. So she's going to make a comparison between what happened there and then and what is happening now. And the comparison is right on. You need to see it. The Vendéens were terrorized and genocided, including priests being killed on the altar while saying Mass, simply for being Catholic and not capitulating to the Freemasonic humanistic Enlightenment. It wasn't an enlightenment, kids, it was the endarkenment. If you want to understand how a nation is driven into brutal civil war, if you want to see exactly what is being done to both the, she puts it, former US and to Europe, it is all here. And it is upon us. This isn't 10 years from now, or 20, or 30. It is upon us now. She goes on, here are the links to part 1 through 3, and I'll embed part 4. In part 4, at roughly the 13-minute mark, I discussed the fast approaching civil war in the former US, and that just as the French Freemasonic Republic used mercenaries, violent convicts released from prison, and some Germans and Swiss, to terrorize and genocide French peasants that refused to capitulate to the revolution. So too will the satanic oligarchy in the former US use black gangbangers, Black Lives Matter, anyone? Latin American drug gangsters, and wait for it, she calls them Musloids, as their proxy armies, mercenaries against civilians and the church. The Musloids are the primary mercenary army. That is the same wretched globalist cabal has marched into and turned loose on Europe. with the wretched anti-pope, George Bergoglio, its #1 propagandist. Yesterday, anti-pope George Bergoglio, the anti-pope, appeared in Poland. Went to Poland. This is why the National Guard troops from little old rural United States, state of Idaho, got sent to Poland a couple of weeks ago. By the way, the South Dakota National Guard also got shipped back overseas. They had only been home about 2 weeks. And I think they went back to Iraq. Going on. Going on. So Anne's videos are posted. She has many videos up. I haven't had time to listen to all of them, but I will. Going forward, going on. Matthew 10:26. I keep posting this over and over. Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. These are words attributed to Jesus. He was speaking privately to his followers. Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. This seems so appropriate to me as a statement to the flat earthers, to the tinfoil hatters, to the conspiracy theorists, to the conspiracy researchers who have struggled so hard, worked so hard to get to the truth of it, to get to the truth of something. And the more we looked in this search for truth, the bigger the deception has become. So first, we do not see or find the truth. What we come to is a deception bigger, more horrific, more all-encompassing than anything we could have ever imagined. And the more we look, the worse it got. Do you understand what great moral courage it has taken for you to keep looking in the face of that? What great moral courage it has taken for you to keep looking in the face of the discovery of how enormous the deception really is, and how little chance we actually appear to have at unraveling that deception and getting at the truth. This has been a fantastic assignment for everyone who has stepped up and taken on that assignment. And so, Jesus is speaking about this deception. Fear them not, therefore. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. I believe that the Master knew we would come to a point where truth would begin to be revealed. I don't know that we would have ever guessed we had to do part of the revealing, but it looks like maybe this great company of people on the internet has been called for that great work. It certainly is within the realm of possibility, and we are certainly moving further and further into the time of truth. I have listened recently. When I'm working with my hands, and I have to work with my hands, I guess I hate this term, but they say it grounds you. Working with my hands is something that grounds me. So I do like to do some kind of handwork. And at that time, I like to take advantage of listening. Don't really watch, but I can glance up and look to something informative, some video, something online. And so recently, I had listened to newscasts. I guess I'll use that word, newscasts, from True News and from those affiliated with Dave Hodges. I've heard Steve Quayle speak recently. I've heard 2 or 3 other American, I will call them this, American Christian watchmen who are not affiliated with the big mega churches that are in the pocket of the powers that be. These are independent, the independent Christian watchmen. And I will report that those that I have heard in the last 2 weeks are all unanimous in the opinion that we have in fact somehow entered the time of the end. Now there remains areas of in which they are not all in agreement, and there is no unanimity on some of the advances related to information in the book of Revelation. For this, and I believe it is for the simple reason that we have not yet reached that time where that truth is adequately revealed. We are doing some of the work, but the greater work of revealing truth in the last days will be done for us by a power greater than ourselves. So whether you want to view current events on the planet, which are affecting us all, as a competition between globalists and nationalists, that would be the socio-political outline, or whether you can and do choose to view all these goings on as related to biblical prophecy, the time of the end, and the great battle between the Son of God and the great deceiver. I myself am not an overtly religious person. And sometimes I do see the other view where this is a socio-political situation. But when all the evidence is taken into consideration, there really cannot be any other full explanation other than this is the time of the end. Prophecy is being fulfilled. And some of us have been called forward for the purpose of witnessing and recording these events that people have been praying, waiting for, and praying for over 2,000 years. When all the evidence is presented and balanced, it really cannot be anything else. And it really cannot be anything but the satanic, demonic influences of Satan and the unclean spirits that are presently moving, fully moving, full activity across the face of the earth. I have trouble with some concepts. I heard a very eminent man speaking about HARP opening some date. I don't know about HARP. I'm not scientific oriented enough to get into any of that kind of stuff. But I do know that one way or another, things like that tunnel, the opening of that tunnel the other last month or whenever it was, and the big satanic rituals that they do systematically over and over. The followers of Satan, the Satanists, the Luciferians, the Masonics, the high-level church, and everyone who you could just lump in one big group and call them the Illuminati. All of them believe this shit. They totally believe it. And this is why they're doing it. So they believe it, whether I understand HARP or not. They think that there's some way they can split an atom or bust something open and get reinforcements from some other satanic dimension. I don't know. I can't go into all that. In my head, I don't go there. Okay. So let me see what all the information that I put on my blog relates to this same topic. Here's the piece about Pope demands Poland open borders to third world migrants. And he's there in Poland on July 28th. So that was a couple of days ago. And he happened to somehow fall on the stairs during a mass at the monastery. And there's pictures of that. Who knows what really went on there. He did this trip to Poland in connection to World, what was that? The World Youth Day. That's a United Nations program. World Youth Day. And he went to Krakow. The pontiff said that many Poles had emigrated and so urged the country to understand why migrants are now arriving in Europe. He said, "We must not be afraid to say the truth. The world is at war because it has lost peace." The Pope declared that none of the conflict in the world is related to religion in any way. 70% of Poles don't want their nation to accept Muslim migrants. Pope Francis urged Poland to welcome migrants fleeing from a number of things, including hunger and the lack of fundamental rights. He told the crowd in Krakow, "You need a willingness to accept people fleeing from wars and hunger, solidarity with people deprived of their fundamental rights, including freedom and safety to profess their faith." One of the new buzzwords is interfaith. There was, for example, in the Democratic National Convention Center, there were rooms set aside for the use of interfaith meetings and conferences and the like. Well, now at these interfaith things, what you will see is Muslims, and there will be Jewish representatives, and there will be Christian representatives. And the Christian and the Jewish representatives will be submissive to the Islamic representatives. Interfaith is another word for Islam, with everything else subjugated to it. Going on. By contrast of the craziness that went on at the Democratic National Convention, there is an article about President Putin, who went today to, he arrived in Slovenia on Saturday at around 2:15 p.m. and is now on his way from the airport to the town of something which I cannot pronounce, where he will attend a ceremony marking the 100th anniversary of the Russian chapel at a mountain pass, and I cannot pronounce that word either. This chapel was built in 1916 by surviving Russian prisoners of war in memory of their comrades who perished in the snow avalanche while building the mountain road. Oddly, there was a picture of this chapel embedded on 3 different articles that I looked at about this information. And I cannot say why, but I was not able to copy paste that. None of those 3 sites would I could not copy paste that image from it. So I don't have that image. I do have an image that I put up, which, you know, I went and searched for another image. I'm sure that there's a really interesting history behind this. Okay, going on. Scrolling, looking at what else did I put up here. The Mormon Church, this came from a newspaper in downtown Salt Lake City. It is an Associated Press article about the Mormon Church pulls missionaries out of Turkey. The church has transferred 15 young volunteers serving in Turkey to Germany. A statement by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints said, according to a news release published by the website Mormon Newsroom. The volunteers will work with the Turkish-speaking population in Berlin. We anticipate these volunteers will return when conditions in Turkey normalize. The church says it has one active mission in 439 congregations in Turkey. And we know that the hierarchy of the Mormon Church is part of the Illuminati. They're also satanic. This is at, and note that I said the upper echelon. People in the lower stratas often have no idea. Usually they don't have any idea. Going on. There is a big post about Turkey slams West for failure to show solidarity over coup. Both sides, there is propaganda showing this and there is propaganda showing something else. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle or left out entirely. I actually think it's probably left out entirely. So this is more smoke screen. We see through the glass darkly right now. But we have been promised that all will eventually be revealed. Going on. Indecent exposure of Erdogan. Laugh at that. Going on. I saved, I really posted this just to make sure that this remains. I just posted it about, this is not new information at all. About Hitler not really having died in the bunker at all, but had escaped, been helped to escape, and had made his way to Argentina. This is not new information at all. I spent a lot of time studying the audio tapes that were left to us in the future by a woman named Mae Brussel, who lived in California and who did tape recordings. This was in the 60s, 70s, and the early years of the 80s, Mae Brussell did a radio show, and she did these tape recordings, which she mailed out to people all over the country who subscribed to her. She had begun she was a mother of 5. I probably have talked about her before. She was a Jewish woman. She was a granddaughter of I. Magnum, after whom the big department store in San Francisco is named. So she grew up in not great wealth, but certainly comfortable circumstances. She married and she had 5 children. And she, in 1963, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, on that very day of his assassination, she began her research. And Mae Brussell, to this day, in my view, is the best researcher that the conspiracy the movement, the truth movement, has ever seen. Yeah, Mae Brussell. M-A-E. Brussels, as in Brussels sprouts. I segued to mention her because during the time that she worked, she knew that Hitler had escaped to Argentina. She knew it. She did a series I should post the audios where she talks about this. Maybe I'll do that. Going on. All right. So this is the big story. Within the big story, there are many, many smaller stories. But none of the smaller stories matter anywhere near as much as this issue about who and what is Islam. We have got to get that straight, and we have to do our part in getting that word out to as many people as is possible. So the most important pieces that I feel that I've posted recently is the work of Anne Barnhart. And on the page that I'm going to put up with this, my video, there will be another video. I remember, I just happened to find this. I posted some material from this man before, somewhere way back, on my blog somewhere. It probably is in somewhere in the archives in, oh well, never mind. And I'm trying to find a page which says this man's name, and I can't, not readily, so I'm gonna move on from that. Anyway, this scholar, but he is a scholar. Tinfoil hatter, yes. Conspiracy researcher, yes. An eminent scholar, yes. Profoundly, yes. And this is a video that he put up in 2014, I believe it was. And again, I urge everyone to listen to this information. We must understand who and what the enemy is. Okay, I'm just going to close this out now. I've said enough. Said enough. Okay, click the little button here that says stop broadcast. I hope to talk with you again. One never knows from one day to the next. Later, Gator. Hang in there. We've come a long way and we're going to go further.